Scotland, a place filled with beauty, serenity and peace. Scotland is a very old country, older than most, and has a long, extensive history. It's too long to explain right now. It's proud and it's filled with culture. I'm here today to talk to you about the Wars of Independence that Scotland fought with England to ensure their independence. The Scottish Wars of Independence began way back in the 1200s in 1296 and didn't really end until 1369. You see, Scotland at the time was never the rule of any one specific leader or government. You must remember this was a long time ago. Things were different back then, Ken. Anyway, Scotland, you see, was ruled by clans, groups of people, somewhat similar to tribes in Africa. They didn't always get along very well, so in the late 1200s, as it just so happened to be, Scotland was nearing a civil war, and they asked King Edward of England for a little help by. Well, obviously he didn't hesitate too much in helping them. Once King Edward had come up to Scotland, he bribed everyone in Scotland about his position of power, and within like a month or so, he had full control of the country. He just bribed everyone, gave them estates in England, threatened to take away anything from them if they didn't listen to him. He was pretty much not very nice. He was known as Edward the Longshanks. He was nae nice. He quickly removed anyone from power in Scotland that opposed him, and the First War of Independence began when he sacked Berwick in March 1296. The English campaign had subdued most of the great country of Scotland by August, within just 1 month. All the Scottish nobles paid homage to him as King of England, of both Scotland and England, and Scotland was all but conquered. A man by the name of William Wallace, who after the murder of his wife led revolts with a handful of Scottish nobles against that tyranny of the English. Wallace led Scotland's first key victory ever against the English at the Battle of Stirling. A great victory for the Scottish. It brought forth motivation, and many more successful raids into northern England followed. Wallace, regarded as a national hero, was appointed the Guardian of Scotland.
This is our army. To join it, you give homage.
I give homage to Scotland. And if this is your army, why does it go?
We didn't come here to fight for them.
Oh, the English are too many.
Sons of Scotland, I am William Wallace.
William Wallace is 7 feet tall.
Yes, I've heard. Kills men by the hundred. And if he were here, he'd consume the English with fireballs from his eyes and bolts of lightning from his arse. I am William Wallace. And I see a whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. You've come to fight as free men. And free men you are. What will you do with that freedom? Will you fight?
Fight against that? No! We will run!
And we will live. Aye. Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. At least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Edward followed this with an attack on Falkirk and defeated Wallace. However, Edward had failed to subdue Scotland fully. William Wallace did play a vital role in the Wars of Independence for Scotland. However, unlike in Braveheart, he was unable to see the dreams of a free Scotland come to fruition. After being betrayed by his fellow Scotsmen, Wallace was handed to the English by the nobles and executed. Wallace was hung, drawn and quartered, with his limbs sent to every corner of Britain as an example. His execution was so brutal and horrifying that the Scottish revolt calmed down for a couple of years.
Mercy, man. Mercy. Jesus, mercy.
The prisoner wishes to say a word.
In 1306, the then King of Scotland, Robert the Bruce, who was still paying homage to Edward, reignited Scotland's desire to be an independent nation. He defeated the English in a series of battles, the greatest being the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, which was the greatest Scottish victory ever against any English army. This claimed a definite victory, crushing the morale of the English. By 1320, the Scottish nobles had sent the Declaration of Our Oath to the Pope, affirming Scottish independence and Robert the Bruce as their king. It was acknowledged by the Pope, however King Edward II disregarded it completely. Eventually, Bruce had had enough, and following an invasion of northern England, Edward III was forced to sign the Treaty of Edinburgh-Northampton on May 1st, 1328. Edward II was declared a traitor to the Church for disregarding the Pope's acknowledgement of Scotland's independence, and he was killed. Now, ironically enough, they didn't decide to kill him, and that his decision was wrong until England were nearing the end of the war and a definite loss. To further seal the deal of peace between England and Scotland, Robert the Bruce's son and heir to the throne of Scotland married the sister of Edward III. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed my brief presentation on the Wars of Independence of Scotland. Scotland has a very broad history, as I said at the beginning, so make sure, if you are interested, to check it out. There's a lot to ken about Scotland. Alright, cheers.